Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we are going to be taking a look at the Finch Tikuna. Finch is a somewhat newer brand to the knife world. They're based in Stillwell, Kansas, and recently they've been dropping what I find to be some pretty unique and attractive designs, so I thought we'd take a look at this one. We have an overall length of 7 inches, a blade length of 3 inches, a cutting edge, though, of 3.5 inches, and that's actually pretty easy to get when you have such a pretty cool-looking machete-style design there on the blade. So all that belly, that'll definitely add up to some extra length there for you on the cutting edge. Blade width at 1 inch, blade thickness at 0.12 inches, with 21 thousandths right behind the edge. This blade is made out of 154 cm with a nice flat grind, a handle length at 4 inches, handle width at 1 inch, handle thickness at 0.49 inches, handle material of a very nice military blue G10, and we are coming right in at 3.94 ounces. The pocket clip is one-sided right-hand tip-up carry, and let's get into this guy. Let's start right off with the blade, because I love this blade. It's a mini machete. How can you not like that? It's awesome. The only drawback to this style of blade, and I don't even know if I'd call it a drawback, I guess I kind of would, the tip here. The tip is, it's so far back, it's hard to really get in and grind. You gotta kind of really get down in there when you're cutting on something. So if there's any drawback to that blade, that's it. But it's got a nice grind. It's thin enough to do a lot of good cutting, and it's just different. It's a unique blade that I think would still work into a lot of people's EDC. Some people may really need that tip down a little more, and if you do, I get that. The more I think about it, I could totally understand that. But I still like this knife for what it brings to the table. The weight to blade ratio on this guy, now having such a bigger, thicker blade, will equate to a little more weight. But guys, we're talking 3.94 ounces on a knife that has a 3-inch blade. So that 0.94 ounces, I know everyone likes to say, the 1-to-1 ratio, kind of the measuring stick that a lot of people use. That means nothing to me. 3.94 ounces or 3 ounces on this knife, I'm not going to notice it. It's never made that big of a difference to me. So this is the one time I thought I'd address it, and just, I may throw it in there every once in a while in the future, but it doesn't mean anything to me. So I usually don't refer to that. 3 ounces, 4 ounces, that's not going to make a big difference to me in the pocket. Maybe if you're wearing basketball shorts, but then I just wear a lighter knife. I'm in jeans, khakis, this knife's good to go. This blade also has jimping in all the right spots. You have some really nice raised jimping here, and you have some really good jimping on the back that you feel that's not too abrasive. It makes for a really, really good grip that we will touch a little more on later. One part that I guess I find is slightly a little eyesore, up here at the top, since the blade is coated in black, they had to grind this off because this is also where the liner lock sits. So I get why it had to be ground off. You probably wouldn't want a coating on that. It'd get wore off pretty quick anyway. So I get it, but it doesn't look great, especially when it's all black and blue. You have this little highlight here, so I mean, I guess more personal opinion, but to me it just doesn't look great. But again, it just is what it is, which leads me to my next point. I really wish they had a non-coated blade option. I've said in the past, I'm not a big fan of the all-black coated blades. it, to me, it's kind of, I could do without it. I don't hate it, but I'm not a fan. I'm not going to take away any points for it or talk about it any less because it has a black coated blade, because a lot of people like black coated blades. So I'll just kind of leave that as it is. But I think the little eyesore I referred to up here would not be nearly as noticeable if it was just a regular stonewash or satin blade, which I would prefer stonewash on this guy. But, that's kind of just is what it is. Not going to take away much for it. The handle on this guy is very nice. The patterning is a good little touch. It gives it that nice extra, rugged outdoors look, which is definitely what this knife is. I mean, when something is so comparable to the the lines of a machete, you got to have a nice rugged look to it, and it does, which I do. So I like that. I appreciate that a lot. I got this knife because I did not have a bright blue knife like this, and I thought, I'll change it up. And I'll get the blue, see what I think of it. And I'm just not a fan of this blue. It's not a gaudy blue. It's just, I guess the best way to put it is, I feel like the color of these scales, it comes off as a toy. And it doesn't sit well with me. So I'm really soon here, I'm going to dye these guys black, and then I'm going to like it even more. The black on black with the little silver highlights, I think will be really, really nice on this. So, and again, that was a personal decision I made to get the blue. So, I definitely don't have any problem at all with them having the blue scales. Blue's a real popular, it's a popular color, and a lot of other people like it. So, good thing they came out with it. It's just not a color for me. So, these guys will be black here pretty soon. I really like the Finch logo on the handle. It's a nice, it's just a cool little fancy design, but not too fancy. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of Ferrari, and I have really no idea why. It's not very comparable to Ferrari. For some reason, I just see a fancy F and think Ferrari. Don't know why. But hey, that's not the worst thing to be compared to or related to when your symbol pops up. So I guess that's kind of a good thing. The clip on this guy is fine. It's not deep carry. I would kind of always prefer deep carry just as a personal preference, but I like the way the clip curves with the handle. Just gives it a good aesthetic look. And they did a nice job of keeping the color scheme matching. There's no the screws are black, the clip's black. There's no gaudy silvers or popping out anywhere. I like the collar looking like that, especially after I dye this black. The collar is going to match really well with the Finch logo down here, so it'll have all the right accents in the right spots and still look not too bright or poppy. So I like that a lot. The ergos on this guy are great. They're well, I don't know if I'd call them great. I'd call them really, really good. For the biggest reason being the jimping up here. So let's get back on this. You see the liner lock here has jimping, which is also, I need to touch on that real quick too. It's very easy to access the liner lock on this, and it's one of the easier ones I've handled in recent memory. It's sticking out. It's raised up well enough, and the jimping isn't too sharp. So when you push over, you don't have to like smash your thumb fat in there or just smash everything in there. It's just a real nice push over, and it falls down, and that's really nice. I really appreciated that about the banter, and this is actually easier than the banter. So I like that a lot. You know what? While I'm talking about the banter, I'm a little out of order here today. You'll have to excuse me, but let's do a couple size comparisons, and we'll set it right next to the banter. Banter being a little smaller knife, but really not a huge difference. A little bigger than the banter, but one thing that these knives actually have a lot in common, because the width of the handles are very similar. The width of the blades are similar. The Finch is maybe, just a smidgen longer. But they're actually very comparable in ergos and just overall, kind of thickness and bulk in the hand. So that's a pretty good comparison right there. And and let's do a couple more just for the heck of it. We got our Benchmade Bug Out, which is considerably longer. Again, though, just to give you an idea of the actual size of this knife, this is not a small knife. I would call it, you know, somewhere between small and medium. We have our Giant Mouse Ace Biblio, which is another good comparison. Another beefy little guy with a blade ready to get it whatever you want to throw at it. And just for fun, because I haven't carried this guy enough lately, the Microtech UTX 85 Bounty Hunter. So this is an 85, so it's not your full-size Ultratech, but again, just another good comparison to have with it. So there's your size comparisons out of order. Sorry about that. But so back to this guy and the ergos. So the ergos are great. Fits right in the hand good. This jimping, gonna hit on this jimping again. So the jimping sticks out. This jimping right here is really nice because you don't want to put it right here, and you don't want to put it in the crease, any of the creases. You want to put it right here in between your hand, in between that little part of your finger. Put your thumb on the jimping, and you kind of pull with your index and push with your thumb, and you're locked in really good. And this is really, it's perfect to take on any real hard cutting test you have to bear down and just push through. You have that good grip in jimping there. Now, this jimping here isn't the most comfortable jimping in the world. So this knife, in my opinion, is more of a common EDC knife. It would be good for EDC. It would be good for any hard cutting task you have to do, but it's not necessarily a work knife where you would want to be doing cut after cut after cut after cut, because the jimping this jimping specifically, this jimping's fine, but this jimping right here would definitely wear into this part of your finger, and if you were doing repetitive cutting tasks for, 6-8 hours a day, that would definitely wear, and then you'd probably be talking some blisters. But again, I don't think any pocket knife this size is really intended to be used that heavily all day. But no, for your general EDC cutting tasks, and even the harder EDC cutting tasks that you're just doing, a couple times here and there, this is great for that. Fits the hand really well. Nice texture on the scales, and a nice curvature at the bottom to kind of keep everything in place. You got the back little ramp coming back this way, gives something good for your pinky to pull down on, and you, like I said, you pull and push there, and you're locked in. It's a really good grip. Also feels just as good in the reverse grip, so that's really solid. So ergos on this guy are no slouch at all. Lastly, the action. The action on this guy is fantastic. You got this back flipper tab, and there's really two ways you can do it. And you can either do kind of where you just pull down like that, and it flies out. Or you can have your finger and kind of just roll it back. So you're kind of going like this, or you're going like this. Personally, I like more of just the roll back. It's easier on the finger. Doesn't wear as much, and it comes out just as fast either way. If you pull straight down, it comes out a little harder. Again, that goes down to personal preference. Bottom line is the detent on this guy is dialed in. It's just about perfect. No complaints with it whatsoever. You got to really try. You have to purposely do that. If you're trying to deploy the blade, it's coming out. It's coming out no problem. Has a pretty good fidget factor for just a regular flipper. One, because like I said, it's easy to access that liner lock and get the blade back down, so you won't be wearing any nasty blisters on your thumb if you're kind of a flipper addict. So that's really good about it. The heavier blade makes it pretty easy to shoot out there, and with authority. Has a pretty good typical flipper sound. Nothing too unique or different, but yeah, it sounds pretty good. Not too bad at all. Yeah, no gripe on the flipper on this at all, or the action. It's good to go there. So overall, I'd have to say, of all the knives I've handled this year, it's the most surprising. I didn't know what to expect from this company or this design, and I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled open for Finch here in the future. This is like their third design that I can remember. They had another design come out right around the same time as this. They had some wood scales, carbon fiber scales that I thought was pretty cool, but this one screamed at me a little more. But definitely, if you're looking for something a little different, and if you want to support an American-based knife company. This knife was made in China, but this is an American-based company, so they're still benefiting from it, guys. Don't be scared away from a knife that is produced in China, and the actual maker or company designer, whoever is in the U.S. You know, you support good people, support good designers, and support good companies. And where the knives come from, you know, my opinion is let those chips fall where they may. But I'm a fan of this. I really like it a lot, and it's definitely going to be a contender for probably my trying to figure out exactly what ranges I want to grade and group my knives in at the end of the year. But this is going to be up there in the $100 to $150 range. This guy comes in at, I think, $149. So for $150, it's right on par with any other knife that it's $150. You know, give or take, you know, $10, $15. No complaints on the price. I think the price is good to go. So this is definitely one I'd recommend if you're looking for something a little different. If you like the design and you dig what you're seeing, give it a try, guys. That's all I got for you today. I will be back with another episode soon. Until then, hope you guys all take care and have a good one. Bye.